The fifth trend I'm going to give you is really 360-degree collaboration. What I mean by this is, look at your vendors, look at your partners, look outside your customer base to see what else you could be leveraging. I'll give you a good example of this. So in the old days, you might do a sweepstakes, or you might run a contest. One of our clients is Hager, the men's apparel brand. And what's really neat about what we've done with them is we looked at retailers that carry the brand and figure out ways to partner with them so we could cross-promote things. So now when we were doing a contest or sweepstakes, it was no longer just Hager doing it or JCPenney doing it. It was, hey, how can we now use our community that we built and expose them to your brand, and vice versa. If you really look at, in terms of how many different partners you may have, or vendors you may have, or people who are not necessarily your direct customers, but look for different ways that you can share digital assets, whether it's as simple as promoting across in newsletters or guest blogging. It's a very powerful way to very easily expand your visibility and audience. And most people don't really think about this. They're so focused on selling through customers or it's very one-directional, right? Good digital selling asks you to broaden your horizon a little bit, step back just a little bit and say, what other assets can we use? Or what organizations? How many of you belong to professional organizations? Various kinds. How many have ever approached them about different ways that you can collaborate online? Right? Whether that's through, so for our B2B clients, one of the things we do is we do webinars, we organize and we essentially curate information, but we put it together and we do webinars with them, but we'll often partner with professional organizations that they're part of and say, hey, would you like, a free webinar for your audience members? Yeah, absolutely. It's a great value add for them. There's a lot of great ways to create win-win opportunities. If you do the digital space correctly and you really leverage these different opportunities you may have correctly. There's so much to be said about cross-pollinating good ideas. So one of the reasons that for example, my company, we work with different industries and we do it strategically. So many people have asked us, why don't you stick to one industry and get really good at it? Because they feel like that limits you in today's day and age. Because you can't take a really good idea from this healthcare, for example, and say, you know what? Why not apply this to IT? Because no one's doing that here. That's why conferences like this are so great too, because they widen your horizon. Because so many times when we're working, we're looking like this. Would you say that's fair? Right? You're kind of siloed, you're used to doing work in your space, but it's sometimes the ideas where, have you ever looked at an idea and thought, why didn't I think of that? Some of the most innovative ideas. So you look at Uber. Uber, the car service. Is it really that innovative in terms of the product? No, it's getting a car to take you places. But the idea that there's a mobile app that makes it easy and convenient, and it's within context and add, layers of relevancy to it, and it's a brilliant business model. There's a lot of opportunity to be had in today's day and age if you can step back a little bit and figure out, how do you leverage this ecosystem? How do you leverage the fact that people are the media, that it's never been easier to get your message out there, to partner with other people so much seamlessly, to really amplify what you're doing, and that's a lot of what this is about. How do you amplify what you're doing? How do you tweak it? How do you amplify it? So one of the things I'd like for you guys to leave here with is to realize there's a lot of great things out there that you can do, but don't let it overwhelm you, because I know there's a sense of that, right? How do I do all of this? There's so many things out there. Start small. Start small, start with what gives you ROI, and here's the most important thing that you can take away. If there's one thing I could tell you, it's to be consistent in your efforts. A lot of people think that digital selling or marketing online is a one-shot thing. Right? You do one campaign, you do something for 1 month or 2 months, and it just doesn't work that way. The way digital selling works today is it's an evolution, but it's a long game. And yes, you'll start to see progress right away, but you really need to be consistent. So if all you do is send out a newsletter to your customers, that's fine. If that's all you have the capacity and capability to do, great. But make it really, really valuable for them, and make sure that you do it every week. You do it every month. Whatever your schedule is, make sure you keep that consistency, because at the end of the day, that's what's going to get you the results.